Hey, what's up, you guys? So, over the weekend, I was having some memories about my childhood, my time in school, my time in high school, just any grade level. And I made a comment about it to my mom. And if you guys don't know, my mom is a teacher. She has experience officially teaching in every single grade level except for college. Um, and honestly, she has stated that she wishes she would have done her current teaching grade, which is preschool, because honestly, she's had a blast and she just loves it so much. And I'm like, you know what, mom? Good for you. I'm glad that you expanded your horizons and tried something and anyways, etc., etc. But then I made a comment to her about how I have noticed that some folks who were not necessarily academically the smartest kids tend to be the ones who have a whole lot of talent. Like, let me pick my eldest brother, for example. My eldest brother wasn't exactly the student with the best grades. And I'm not going to really explain why that is. If I had to guess, I don't know him that well, but if I had to guess from what I know about him, um, my father wasn't there for him, and then his mom was not exactly ready to be a parent. So, the kid was pretty much on his own. I think he did pretty well. Like his quality as a person, I think he did well considering his circumstances. But although he was not very good academically, he has incredible talent at putting stuff together, fixing things, exactly a broken down car. So then I said to my mom, you ever notice how there is always the student that really excels in theater, music, basically the non brainy subjects, like the hands on subjects, the arts, to name them something, they're great at it. Or they can be good at shops classes or anything that's technical. I was a incredibly strong student when it came to the more brain part of subjects. Like, I was a great thinker. I could write anything. I could summon a muse at any time. I could summon a poem, a story, you name it. I can make it happen. But when it comes to making things with my hands, crafting things, I was never very good at that. Art, I pretty much discovered on an accident. Like it was, I got over some disease and I just had this impulse to grab a pencil and try to draw something. And then it happened. And then my mom says that we actually have artists in the family. She's not one of them, but my uncle was. So I guess I was the next person in line to be artistic like that. And I was like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But I guess it did not come to me during my school years because I was focused on other things. Like I had the pressure of my mom is a teacher, so she's going to be very strict about me making good grades, coming home with good grades. And, my biggest fear was bringing home a B because by her standards, that wasn't acceptable. So I was a perfectly functioning student, but that doesn't mean that I felt like I was capable of manifesting my theoretical skills um, into practicality. Like say if I learn about rockets, it doesn't mean that I can immediately get hired by NASA and be building the next biggest thing and greatest spaceship. So it's kind of a bummer for me because I feel like I got in the way of my own progress as a person. Clearly, I have the capacity to learn things and retain them. And the way I know that I understand something is if I can teach someone else about it. But actually accomplishing something with my knowledge, it's a completely different story. And so that's really what I mean by why smart students are not always indicative of someone's capacity, because I can make straight A's all that I want. But if I don't have, say, good management skills, good personality traits, and everything, I'm going to be a complete failure everywhere I go, everywhere I get hired. Like if I'm not organized, if I'm never on time, that stuff matters when it comes to your career and being a successful person. And you guys know that my definition of success is, very basic and simple. But I always think of my brother. I'm like, he may not have been academically smart, but it doesn't mean that he's actually not capable of doing great things. And he's actually one of the sweetest people ever. And he behaves much better than some people with like prestigious titles, such as Doctor something, or, Royal Highness something something. I don't know if you guys have ever met people who are supposed to be very distinguished at something and they cannot even have simple common courtesy. And to me, I just cannot have respect for someone who's like that. But for me personally, I will always think that I'm average because I do not really challenge myself to my full potential. I just don't feel like exposing myself to that type of stress. My goals in life are just too simple. And that's why I didn't pursue college. I didn't feel like I would be up for it despite my teachers telling me, oh, you have everything to win. I mean, you made good grades, you had an excellent attendance, you always asked questions, you always got your homework done. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that I will succeed at everything that you throw at me. And college is one of those things. I just know myself. I'm burnt out and I just do not care to do such a thing. So then at some point, I felt like I was trapped. Like, wow, I'm really going to have a hard time progressing in life because, say, I didn't pursue a degree and everyone is looking for a degree. The degree is what makes you someone, is what gets you somewhere. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm not meant to be working with other people, for other people. Maybe I'm meant to build my own thing. Maybe I'm not very good at the very technical things like working with computers, fixing cars, or being a rocket scientist, stuff like that. But maybe my creativity is good enough to make something for myself. And that's really the way I visualize life now. I'm not sure how long it will take me to, say, create my own means of living and all that. I have no idea what form it would take. Like, am I going to be a writer? Am I going to be an artist? Say, the channel. Would this thing have any success? I would be shocked if it had any success, by standards of making a living with it. But at least it gives me a direction. I get to explore how I feel while doing it. Am I happy? Normally, when I film, I feel very happy. Sometimes I get nervous. Sometimes I completely forget what I was talking about when I do live streams. And I love that challenge because it's like right now, as I speak, I have like this feeling in my gut of God, there's people watching me. I don't want to mess this up. I don't want to lose my train of thought. But then as soon as I finish the stream, I'm like, oh, I forgot to say the most important thing. And it's like you beat around the bush. And I'm like, well, that's exactly why I do not go around claiming to be good at anything because my nerves, my feelings will betray me. So if I were to become, I don't know, this successful star, it's like, okay, you're going to have this preconceived notion of me that I'll excel at any moment that you throw something at me. And I'm like, no, I'm not meant to be impressive all the time. So if you guys find me fun to hang out with, and it's all giggles and me pranking and stuff, which you guys don't see that on the channel, but in real life, I'm a complete prankster. Like I'm always teasing people and just bothering people one way or another. But You guys wouldn't have known that about me unless I tell you. So if you look at someone and you're like, oh, this person is a musician, I expect them to be whistling and singing and making sounds all the time and know the name of this tune and be able to play anything on command. And I'm like, no, it's a whole process that goes into things. For me, producing a video, it's a little bit of a process because I think of something, I come up with the idea, I write it down, and then sometimes I write something down and I don't get to it for a month. And it's because at the moment that I got the idea, I had something to say, but it wasn't completely broken down to where I had enough content for a message in a video. And then this one, I actually wrote maybe Saturday, and now it's when I got around to it. And I ended up missing 2 days of filming because I just did not have it in me to say something. And I don't want to just put out a video for the sake of putting out a video. I like to feel like I have some sense to express. But if you guys find yourselves in that situation where you're making bad grades in school or something, or you know someone who's making bad grades, just tell them to always do what they can. Because honestly, I know plenty of people who have a degree and they end up doing nothing with it. And that's not bad necessarily. It's not that they're failing, it's they end up, I don't know, having their own business or something, and it's completely unrelated to what they actually went to school for. So there's this pressure of just selling you the degree, because that's really what it is. They're selling you education. And then years later, you discover that you didn't need it after all. And I think everyone should go for it if you really, 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 truly think, like from the depths of your being, think that it will supply you with the tools to do the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life. But honestly, I personally would love to recommend to anyone that if you have an idea, work on it, make something with it, build it, whatever it is. If you can draw, try to sell your art. If you can sing, try to make your own music and have people listen to it and publish it somehow. Just try to be your own boss because it really sucks to work for someone. You don't get to make your own schedule, you don't choose your time. Your life revolves around them, and it's pretty stressful, and it's, for me personally, it's starting to get to me. Like, I'm constantly tired, and I'm not usually a tired person. I don't lack energy like that, and I'm finding myself postponing things of my personal life because of that. So nothing better than you having the freedom to do with your life what you want to do, and not having to stress about making money and how to make ends meet, and fulfilling someone else's schedule and do something that you don't even get a thank you for. So that's honestly what I would say. Don't feel like there's no way out for you if you're not doing well in school. Don't worry about it. There will be opportunities for you. So I encourage you to just be nice to yourself, do what you can, and help others too. Like, just be encouraging to one another, because being nice to people really, really goes a long way. You just never know what someone's going through, and what you tell them may be all that they need. Like for me, I thought some 5 years ago, I thought that I was going to rush myself into college at some point. I do not feel that at all. And I always felt like uh like I would be condemned to do a work that I don't like. Say, I don't know, work in retail forever. And I know that I will not be in retail forever. There's a way out for me. But it's just gonna take time. It takes time. And holy crap, I'm frozen. But, anyways, you guys, I've pretty much said everything that I felt like I needed to say. What are your thoughts? What are your experiences? Do you have a degree, and are you doing anything with it? Has it helped you? And do you wish that you would have done something different when you were deciding your path in life? Have you been the kind of kid who you were not good at academics, but you were really good in sports or something? Because I knew so many people like that, and they ended up getting scholarships. And great, you got a scholarship, but so what? You're in school because you can play sports, but if you don't do well with your grades, you can get kicked out. So you have this pressure, to deal with. So, anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts because honestly, I think it's interesting. Everyone should think about this. This is important. This affects your life. So just do what you can, do the best that you can, and just don't give up on your dreams. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.